Welcome to the Business Profile. I'm Jeff Layton. Today we're at the West Joe's Funeral Home right in Detroit Lakes, and with me is Chuck Standel. Chuck, we've always had some really interesting things to talk about, from your new remodeling and all the things that you have going on here. But there's something that we wanted to talk about that goes along with the funeral process, and that's the grieving process. And there's an interesting camp of sorts that kids can participate in that are struggling with the loss of a loved one, and that's what we want to talk about today. And it's called Hearts of Hope. So can you give us a little bit of background on it?
Well, a little history on it, Jeff, is back in about 2001, the Minnesota Funeral Directors Association recognized a need to help grieving children, and they formed an organization called the Children's Grief Foundation. And 2 years after they formed that, this Hearts of Hope Grief Camp started. And basically what it is, it's a camp for school-age children who have experienced the loss of a significant person in their life. It could be a parent, it could be a grandparent, a friend, a teacher of theirs.
Okay.
And it just provides them a chance to mix with other kids that are experiencing the same type of situation.
Okay. Well, and I think, as you get older, you probably have a way of maybe dealing with grief a little bit better, or you get a little better handle on it compared to when you're younger. I remember I had one of my best friends, a neighbor, who passed away from leukemia. And it's obviously something I'll never forget. I ended up being a pallbearer at his funeral. It was one of the first times I had to deal with it, as not only as a person, but also as a young kid. And a lot of times you're feeling like, geez, I think I'm the only one going through this. And I'm guessing when you can get all these kids together, they realize that they aren't alone.
Right, right. And a couple interesting things about the camp. They try to group the kids a little bit by age and also by the type of death that this individual in their life experienced. So maybe someone died of cancer. The people in your group are all cancer people, so you're learning about the same things. Maybe it's an accidental death. Those kids are grouped accordingly. There's also a doctor that's involved in each camp, and he or she tries to get down to the kids' level. They hear these words while the person is sick and they maybe obviously don't understand everything that's being said. The doctor tries to explain that to them.
Sure.
Too.
Oh, that's an interesting way of doing it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that in looking at this, when we were talking a little bit, and the funding for this, and you had mentioned it kind of started with the foundation, but then the neat thing is that actually as a funeral home, you actually donate as a part of it. Yeah,
we're in their memorial program. And I just looked before you came, and there's about 30 funeral homes in the state that participate in this program. So a portion of each dollar that my funeral home earns is sent to the Hearts of Hope camp to help them out. It's really a volunteer organization. There's an executive director, but everybody else is volunteer at these camps. You might have, at a particular camp, maybe the camp cook is a funeral director. Okay. Maybe someone who is organizing a certain activity, a walk or something at the camp, could be anybody in the funeral industry. Could be somebody, a secretary at a funeral home. It could be the local casket salesman. It's kind of a big group of people in our industry that volunteer their time for this.
Okay. Well, it's just one way that maybe a lot of people don't realize it as a funeral home, how you can give back and also to help people with that grieving process.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's we just feel it's just a real important thing, and we have had people in our community that we've had kids that we have sent to camp. So I've yet to volunteer myself, and people who have done it say it's a life-changing experience, and we hope to be on that end of it someday too.
Okay. If people wanted to learn more about this, would they want to contact you directly, or is there a place that they can call directly? What's easier?
I think the best thing is to start with your local funeral home, and they'll be able to tell you just what to do. by the way, there's no cost to the campers. There's no cost for these kids to do this. So I would just contact your local funeral home, and they'll be able to help you.
All right. Well, Chuck, always learning something new and interesting. So I want to thank you for having us in again.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So again, if you have any other questions, Chuck would be more than happy to answer them right here at West Joe's Funeral Home. Until next week's Business Profile, I'm Jeff Layton.